Hello and welcome to Newsroom. I am Jawad Tehami. We are going to talk about two very important things in today's program. The first relates to Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's important visit to Turkey, and the second segment would be related to Pakistan television celebrating 58th launch anniversary. We'll be talking about these two very important things in our show today. And let me begin with the first segment. Pakistan's Prime Minister is on a two-day official visit to Turkey on the invitation of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. And over there a short while ago, the two leaders jointly inaugurated the third Muljam corvette ship for Pakistan Navy, PNS Khyber, and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif during the inauguration ceremony said this particular inauguration represents the deepening defense cooperation between Pakistan and Turkey. He also said that Turkey has always stood by Pakistan in difficult times. Likewise, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in his address said that Turkey will always stand by Pakistan. And now, regarding this particular visit, high-level bilateral interactions between the two leaders are going to happen also, and both the leaders are going to discuss the wide-ranging bilateral relations. Also, the regional situation is going to come under discussion between the two leaders, and also regarding other areas of common interest. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif during his visit is also expected to interact with the business community over there in Turkey and highlight the investment potential in Pakistan. We'll be talking to Mr. Yasir Rehman. He's a senior analyst and a senior anchorperson on this very important and significant visit. But before heading into the discussion, here is the report. Let's watch that.
Pakistan and Turkey enjoy fraternal ties deeply embedded in commonalities of faith, culture and history and underpinned by exceptional cordiality and mutual trust. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is paying a two-day official visit to Turkey at the invitation of Turkish President Erdogan. According to Prime Minister's office, the Premier Shehbaz Sharif alongside President Erdogan will jointly inaugurate the third of four Milgem-class corvette ships for Pakistan Navy, PNS Khyber, at the Istanbul shipyard. The Milgem project, based on joint collaboration between the two countries, represent a significant milestone in Pakistan-Turkey's strategic partnership that continues to progress on an upward trajectory. Two leaders will also hold wide-ranging discussions encompassing bilateral relations, the regional situation, and other issues of common interest. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is also expected to interact with leaders of Turkish business community. President of the ECO Trade and Development Bank will also call on Prime Minister during his stay in Istanbul. Earlier, Pakistan and Turkey signed the preferential trade agreement aimed at boosting trade in goods between two countries, and Prime Minister Shehbaz termed the agreement a great moment and a milestone in the brotherly and historic relations between Pakistan and Turkey. Frequent leadership-level exchanges are a defining feature of the external bonds of the Pakistan-Turkey friendship.
And to talk more about this particular very significant visit of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif to Turkey, we are joined in the studio by Mr. Yasir Rehman, senior analyst and senior anchorperson. Mr. Rehman, thank you very much for being on Newsroom. We really appreciate your time. A short while ago, you might have yourself witnessed the inauguration ceremony of the third Muljam grade ship for Pakistan Navy. So Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif says that represents the deepening defense cooperation between the countries. How do you think both the countries can reinforce this strategic cooperation further also?
First of all, Jawad, thank you very much for the invitation in this program. Today is a very important day for Pakistan. Why it is important? Because world has witnessed that in this cold weather, in Islamabad and in Istanbul, there was warmth. There was a warmth of relationship between two countries, and the relationship is not only confined to one dimension. It is confined to many dimensions as well. It's a multi-dimensional relationship. It's a strategic relationship that world has recently witnessed between Pakistan and Turkey. Today, this is important day. Why? Because this Muljam class corvette ship 3 PNS Khyber was commissioned and into Pakistan Navy, and before that PNS Babur in 2021 and PNS Badr in 2022. it's a series, it's a joint production, it's a joint venture between Pakistan and Istanbul. It defines that Pakistan is heading towards the technological upgradation which is required in this blue economy, which is required in this naval world. And if you have a strengthened navy, strong navy in the world, it means that you have a strong defense, you have a strong economy, you have the potential to grow exponentially in the economic sector as well. So I guess this is a very important day for Pakistan, and as far as the defense ties of Pakistan and Turkey are concerned, Turkey is concerned, we have seen in the past, like from the start in 1950s and then 1970s and then going forward, that Turkey defense forces, they have enhanced the capabilities of Pakistani defense forces, and vice versa, Pakistan defense production, it has really boosted Turkey's defense side as well. So we have seen that this defense ties, now it has grown from defense to trade, from defense to economy, from defense to culture. So that's why I said at the start that it's a multi-dimensional.
It's a multidimensional. Of course, it speaks volumes about the mutual collaboration between Pakistan and Turkey when it comes to defense production. Both the countries have been facing the menace of terrorism for over the years. We recently saw as President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in his today's address also alluded to the fact that Pakistan stood by Turkey after this recent horrific terrorist attack. Now, how do you think Pakistan and Turkey can collaborate in the counter-terrorism domain also?
Pakistan has suffered a lot. Pakistan's economy has suffered a lot. Pakistan has suffered lives in fight against terrorism. So Pakistan has a rich experience in this war against terrorism. So definitely Turkey has different challenges from a regional point of view, because the personality and the leadership that Recep Tayyip Erdogan has and how he has improved his the standard of living, the quality of living of its people, and definitely it has raised the challenges as well. They have the regional challenges. So in order to mitigate those challenges, in order to counter those challenges, I guess the Turkey has a lot to learn from Pakistan in this phase, because Pakistani forces, they have fought over the years, they have sacrificed their lives for this in order to eradicate this menace from the Pakistani soil. So Turkey is committed to eradicate the menace of terrorism, and as well as the tag that some of our enemies or adversaries, they tag both the nations, or the tag Islam as the Islamic terrorist, things like that, Islamophobia. So in order to eradicate this menace, this misperception regarding the Islam, both countries need to work together, and there is a lot to learn from Pakistan in this regard.
Turkey helped Pakistan after the recent devastating floods also. That was also mentioned in today's President Erdogan's address. Also, when it comes to dealing with the natural calamities and the climate-induced natural disasters, what are the prospects for both the countries to collaborate?
If you see, Turkey did not even help in recent floods that Pakistan faced, not because of Pakistan's fault, but because of this overall the world phenomena right now. The Pakistan is urging the world to look upon these, to have concentrated effort on this kind of a challenge that the world is being faced right now. In my opinion, in 2005, when earthquake shattered Pakistan and especially the Azad Kashmir, Turkey came, its companies came, they have rebuilt Azad Kashmir. You must have visited Azad Kashmir, you have seen the Muzaffarabad. They have rebuilt their government offices, they have rebuilt their universities, they have rebuilt the mosques over there, and they have done a lot in the construction field. And also in 2010, the floods that affected Pakistan, again, Turkey president came to Pakistan with the First Lady, and they extended maximum support to Pakistan in this regard. This is the support that has been extended to Pakistan. But if we talk about the unified approach, that should tell the world that Pakistan is one of the countries that is severely affected with this change in environment, with this environmental change, and definitely Turkey can help, because Turkey has a say in the Western world, Turkey has a say in OIC, Turkey has a say in the United Nations. So definitely Turkey has can do a lot in supporting Pakistan.
When it comes to enhancing the trade volume between Pakistan and Turkey, last time when Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif visited earlier in this year, this is the second visit he's undertaking to Turkey. He also said there is a huge potential for enhancing the trade volume between Pakistan. It already stands at around $1 billion. It can be enhanced to $5 billion. What areas do you think both the countries need to capitalize on?
This is a very important area, because if we talk about that, Pakistan and Turkey have the multidimensional relationship, and it's a strategic relationship, not a bilateral, not kind of a short term or a medium term. It's a strategic and a long term relationship. So if we talk about the trade volume, I was comparing this trade volume with the India's. Turkey and India has 11 billion trade volume, $11 billion of trade volume. So Pakistan and Turkey has only 1 billion of trade volume. So I guess we need to identify the areas where the investment can be made from Turkey, from the investors, and we need to enhance this B2B approach, business to business approach. We need to enhance the areas, we need to identify the areas, we need to bring Turkey on board on CPEC, the second phase of CPEC, that is SEZs, Special Economic Zones. We need to invite them to Pakistan so that there should be an investment. We need to learn from Turkey in the tourism industry, because they earn a lot from the tourism industry in this regard. And also there was some kind of a lack from the previous government to invite the investors from the Turkey, and they have some kind of reservations, and that's why the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in his first visit to Turkey, he apologized to the investors, he apologized the businessman over there, and he said that you have the reservations, we apologize that they were not being catered for, they were not addressed at that point in time, but we ensure that if you invest in Pakistan, if you have any kind of reservation, we will provide you one window operation, and Pakistan will be the win-win for you and the Turkey.
So what exact measures do you think can be taken by the Pakistani authorities in order to attract the investment in Pakistan?
I guess ease of business and cost of doing business. This is very important. Ease of business is there should be a one window operation. There should be less red tapeism in this, and as well as the cost of doing business, because the world is competitive. If you want to sell your thing, if you want to export your things out of Pakistan, and if you want to maximize your foreign exchange reserve, then you need to focus on one thing, that is reducing your cost of production.
Right. Your point is well taken. Mr. Yasir Rehman, senior analyst and senior anchor, thank you very much for being on Newsroom. We really appreciate your time. It's time for a short break. After we return from the break, we'll be talking about Pakistan Television celebrating 58th launch anniversary. For that, stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsroom. Pakistan Television will be celebrating its 58th launch anniversary tomorrow. Over half of the century, Pakistan Television had been informing, educating and entertaining the entire nation. Not only this, Pakistan Television had been portraying a positive image of Pakistan abroad as well. PTV over the years has produced various forms of content that include news, current affairs, sports, dramas, telefilms, comedy, satire, poetry, game shows, songs, national songs, and over the years it had been spreading awareness among the general masses. And we've also seen Pakistan Television teams being at the forefront when it came to bridging that gap between the general masses forces and the authorities. Most recently, we saw the Pakistan television teams going into far-flung areas where people have been hit and devastated by the recent floods, and they had been highlighting the miseries and the kind of difficulties people are faced with, and drew the world attention to the very important issue Pakistan is vulnerable to, the climate-induced floods in Pakistan that wreaks havoc not only to the lives and livelihoods of the locals, but also to the national economy also. Let's talk about the 58 years of Pakistan television's journey. We are honored to have been joined in the studio by Mr. Farooq Hassan. He is senior Anchorperson. Mr. Hassan, thank you very much for taking time out, and on this very auspicious occasion, I would like to say. So over the years, you've been long associated with Pakistan television at various positions, in various capacities. How your personal experience had been with PTV?
Walaikum assalam, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Jawad, for inviting me. It's quite an honor for me to be, talking about this on this occasion of PTV's birthday. I've been associated with PTV for more than 30 years now. I started off as a student. Back in 1991 was my first television play from Lahore TV. And since then, I never looked back. And PTV has really groomed me over the years, and I got to work in different faculties. I've worked behind the camera, I've worked in front of the camera, I've done acting, anchoring, and you were just mentioning a lot of things that PTV has been doing over the years. And I'd just like to add that Pakistan Television also has the honor of doing special transmissions, marathon transmissions on special occasions, whether it be 23rd March, 14th August, Eid, and then the New Year, Pak-China Friendship Day, and so many other occasions. And then there was this evening time transmission, night time transmission. So PTV has been a pioneer. And I think, obviously I'd like to thank Allah and, my parents and friends. And last but not least, Pakistan Television for giving me this opportunity that today, if, some 4 or 5 people know me, it's because of this media.
So which role did you like the most, whether it was acting, anchoring, or some other role?
That's a very that's a very cliche question, actually, a very difficult one, actually. I think with anchoring I'm very comfortable. It comes probably naturally to me, and I would like to say that Nargis Hashmi was a senior producer. She's retired now. She's my mentor, and then Amjad Bukhari Saab, Khaja Najmullah Hasan. I've worked with all the bigwigs who used to be here, and got a lot of grooming from them. Anchoring was something which came naturally to me, but I was not the stereotype, typical anchor person that one would expect at those times, right? So I started anchoring in probably 96 from this very floor that we are sitting on right now. And it was the morning show, which was Roshan Pakistan. And I used to always be inspired by the likes of Tariq Aziz, Mustansar Hussain Tadar, and Moin Akhtar Saab, and Umar Sharif Saab. They were like legends, and I just used to observe them. And I used to get a lot of inspiration from them. That's what actually prompted me to come into. But I joined as an actor. I never wanted to come into anchoring, but I was just thrown into it. So,
right. Right. Farooq, what about when PTV used to produce dramas? They had a legacy, and they had their unique identity, and they were watched and liked the world over. So what made them so unique?
Jawad, I think the topics, the effort that the producer, the production team used to put into that project. The actors, they used to take the job very seriously. We used to have a lot of rehearsals, and the producer used to work on each and every actor regardless of the length of his role. Even if it was just a passing shot, the producer would make sure that the actor would deliver to the best. So that was one unique point. And then the topics, and then we had writers like Amjad Islam Amjad, Dr. Isaac, so many others, and amazing producers like Qasim Jalali Saab, Mohammad Bak Samejo, Saira Kazmi, so many, if I was to name Rashid Dar, Shakir Uzair Saab, so they used to really work on each and every actor. So that was probably the highlighting point. And at that time, if you, I don't know, if you would recall, there was just one channel, which was Pakistan Television, and it was the only source of information, entertainment for all the masses. So when someone says that, you used to work, and I said, you people had no choice but to watch me. So now people have a choice.
Now, Farooq, after there was a mushroom growth when it comes to the electronic media, there were mushroom growth of the channels.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to relaying the message to the general masses, it comes under the ambit of freedom of expression and freedom of speech. But there has been a slogan with PTV for over the number of years that with freedom comes responsibility. Yes. So, what's your take regarding that? And how do you differentiate how PTV treats relaying of a message as compared to the private media?
Well, I think it's a very important question actually. Pakistan Television, being the state media and a pioneer of media in Pakistan, had a great responsibility on its shoulders. And I think Aslam Azhar Saab was the first chairman or MD of Pakistan Television, and he instilled those values which still carry on. Each and every artist who works for Pakistan Television is taught and groomed to be extremely responsible. The other day I was telling someone that when we used to speak, when we used to anchor shows or compare different programs or even act, we used to make sure that each and every word that comes out of our mouth is precise, and it's not misspelled, mispronounced, because whatever we say used to be relayed to millions of people. And at that time, since there was just one channel, so we were supposedly role models. So people used to emanate us, they used to copy us. So we had a great responsibility, and that continues even till now. But now I've seen, because of mushrooming of, there's so many channels and so much media, there's no attention to detail, like it's just content, you just make content and you just churn it and you just pass it on. So I think Pakistan Television has played a great role and still is playing, that whatever it relays is with responsibility and is with surety.
Farooq, Pakistan Television has produced the content for all the age groups, and particularly when you talk about the content for children, what I remember is Anak Wala Jinn and
Alif Laila, Anak Wala Jinn, Koshish, so many plays. I did one for children, Roshan Raste from Lahore. It was about students and a teacher, the kind of bondage they have and how the teacher inspires and influences his students. So yeah, PTV has been a four-player.
What are your recommendations with the changing times? What sort of a content should be produced in specific for children?
See, Jawad, the thing is, nowadays it's as we call the 5th generation warfare, right? Media is one of the most important tools, right? So gone are the days of conventional warfare. So if you need to influence any nation or any group of people, the best and most cost-effective way is media. And to do that, you have to have a strategy in place, and you have to roll it out, implement it with utmost, responsibility. I personally feel that, early days of PTV when I joined in 90s and all till 90s, since we were the only channel, there was, we felt our responsibility, and we used to make programs for each and every cluster of the society, whether it's children, youth. We used to have talk shows, we used to have special transmissions, we used to have programs for elderly people, dramas, entertainment, everything, we used to cover that. Now, I personally feel, I might be wrong, this has become more of a rat race, people are competing to churn more content, and the focus on the quality of that content is probably, it has diluted a bit. That's what I feel. Having said that, even if I was to mention, like in Pakistan Television, the plays that were made in 70s, 80s, like Varis and then Tanhaiyan and so many other plays, blockbusters, Doob Kinare, and we still, Alif Noon, we still watch them, the comedy scenes and all. But now for a long time, I have yet to come up with that kind, and it used to draw so much attention, roads used to get deserted and there were shuttered down strikes. There's a play.
There was so much anticipation.
Yeah, the final episode of Varis is going to be on air, and people used to be glued to this screen. Now, even now, there are exceptions, but I think over the years the quality has diluted.
So, in this digital age,
Yeah.
what do you think remain to be the challenge, especially for the state broadcaster, when everybody has got his own cell phone and they
Yeah.
can have the access to any
Yeah,
sort of
yeah, yeah.
content?
Now, I think the biggest challenge is that everyone has a choice. Like, see, as you mentioned, we have mobile phones, and then we have platforms like YouTube and all. So you can watch any content, anytime, anywhere, regardless whether you're traveling or not. So the content has to be such which has to be not only eye-catching, but it has to make sense, and it has to be a quality content. Even now, if you see with so many channels, only those channels or those programs come in forefront which have content and quality content. If you might watch it once, probably second time you won't watch it if it doesn't have content. So it's just putting in big names without content. It's not going to sell. Now people are very aware now. Previously, probably because of lack of social media, people weren't that much aware, so they would feed on anything that you would show them. But now everyone knows what they want to see, so you have to consciously strategize and hit the niche where it's required. So I feel Pakistan television, first of all, obviously there's so much competition, has to compete with all the private channels and the media, and secondly build on its original value of being a home entertainment channel. I think that's the USP of Pakistan television, that even today all the family can sit together and watch any program, whether it's a play, it's a special transmission, it's a show, whatever. People like to watch, and they would like their children to watch Pakistan television. But then at the same time, it has to keep up with the growing trends and with the requirements and demands of the consumer.
Right. Farooq, which form of content in particular do you think can be utilized to portray a positive image of Pakistan, whether it could be making films or through drama or through docudrama or through documentaries? Which form do you think could be the most appropriate?
Yeah. I think Pakistan television has had all forms. It's tried and still doing. Like we have tamasil, long plays, we have serials, we have documentaries, and so many amazing talented people in Pakistan television who are doing this. I personally feel that PTV needs to invest in the content by bringing in youth and projecting the positive image of Pakistan. Most of the channels that I see, I usually I get that feeling that most of the news are negative news, or they're not very pleasant news. Let me put it that way. Okay, so in a society, in a growing society, obviously all kind of things happen, and people tend to view and they like exciting things, but
in that sort of an environment, more responsibility falls on the shoulders of the state media.
Of the state media, I would personally, I have always contributed. My focus, every program that I've done, has been to promote people who have contributed to the society, who have made Pakistan a better place to live in, who have projected Pakistan's image in the international community at the global level. We should project them, and we have so many cases like that. I do not believe people who say that, how can we find so, you just pick up a story and you find a good story. There's so many people who are doing for the society. You mentioned floods, that is one. Education, health. I know people I know doctors who are philanthropists, and they are doing amazing job, and they are contributing a lot. I know educationists who are giving free education to children, but people, most of the media rarely covers them.
So Farooq, one last question: how crucial do you think the international collaboration is when it comes to bringing in innovation?
I think Pakistan television has a unique position to actually capitalize on that factor. Being the state media, it has muscle. Being the state media, it has the backing of the state, direct backing. It can get a platform at places where most of the channels could not even dare to enter. So it should capitalize on that. And you mentioned international collaboration, absolutely. And I think there have been instances in the past that PTV has collaborated with China, with Germany, with other countries, and made joint productions. And with respect to training of their staff, we've had collaboration with Japan also. They've helped us in making state-of-the-art studios and all. So our job at PTV should be to capitalize on that and to maintain it and to grow it. We need to teach people, and then they should train the trainers. Like they should train other people, so that the overall level of efficiency increases.
So a supplementary question to this particular thing, when it comes to training, so what areas do you think should be emphasized now, keeping in view the requirements of the digital age, to train the already acquired staff?
Okay, so personally I think the buzzword or the name of the game today is probably current affairs. Like that's one area which everyone is hooked on to, especially in Pakistan. That's what I feel mostly. People are not that much inspired by entertainment, by dramas and all, but by talk shows and all that stuff. So I personally feel that is one area where PTV can make a difference, because by bringing out the up-to-date, correct, rectified version of different stratas of the society, that's where PTV can contribute. Because right now I feel there's a race to be the first one, and in doing that most of the people do not observe the principle of integrity, or like whether it's the correct news or not. But I think PTV, being a responsible state media, has that edge over each and every other media platform, that it can actually have access directly to the truth and present it in a very neutral manner, transparent manner.
Pakistan Television World, the last question I just got it right now. Pakistan Television World remains to be the only English news channel that is relaying Pakistan's message to the outer world. How important do you think it is, and what needs to be done more regarding that?
I was actually, Jawad, I was very pleasantly impressed. I hadn't visited this studio for a long time, and as I told you, PTV World, how long has it been now? 10, 12, 15?
2013.
2013 it came into being, so it's been 9 years now. So before that was a normal studio, used to do Roshan Pakistan and other programs from the studio. I was so impressed when I saw the, like the layout and the studios and all. It has really, I couldn't believe it at first. It's state of the art. I think Pakistan Television World, PTV World, is actually a gateway for Pakistan to access the international community and reach out to them and portray our true picture, Pakistan's true picture, to the world. And we are a very peace-loving nation. We are a very growing nation. We have an amazing pool of talent. Our youngsters, our youth, more than 60%. It's like it is ready to go, and we have excelled in so many fields. But there's a lot to do. There's only this one channel. I wish there were more channels like this who would project our youth to the international community, and the wonderful stuff that they've done in IT, in other so many fields. Education, medicine. I keep on reading about Pakistanis who've contributed towards projecting Pakistan's image in the world, and trust me, it's a never-ending list.
Mr. Farooq Hassan, Senior Anchorperson, thank you very much for being on the show today. It was a pleasure, it was an honor, and it was really enlightening and recalling all those golden memories, the time that you have spent over here, and it really happens to be an honor and privilege to be the part of the state broadcaster, and Pakistan Television, as it had been doing over the number of years, it will continue to inform, educate and entertain its viewers at par with the international standards. With that note, we come to the end of today's newsroom. Until the next one, take good care of yourselves.